All right, peace, family, peace, family, peace, family. Let me play this intro music.
Welcome to the Pro-Black Perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions. Your host tonight is the author of the Pro-Black Compendium and Zuberi and the Maroons of Ma'at, the Pan-African Nationalist, Oni. Oni, what are we discussing tonight?
All right, peace, family. Appreciate you joining me today. Today, we're going to go back into who are the enemies within. Shout out to Keter. He said last week I should do 8. That was very difficult, but I narrowed it down to 8.5. I mean, it's going to be 8, but I'm going to try to tie in quite a few. Before we get started, though, we had an ally this week. Okay, we had an ally this week, and I say to myself, we do want to understand who are the enemies within, because if you have no enemies within, the enemies without can't harm you. But we had an ally today, so while everybody comes through, gets your sandwiches or whatever, get yourself ready, right? We're gonna listen to an ally. All right, so this is a new section. Sorry, there's no intro music for the new section, but we're gonna do that. We're gonna get to that possibly someday. But we're gonna say it's Malema. Malema, shout out to Malema. Understand this. Page 23 of the Pro-Black Compendium. Unity is strength, division is weakness. Okay? Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. Unity is strength, division is weakness. And this brother just represents for us. And that's really what we have to acknowledge before we even get into the program. So we're gonna acknowledge that.
In which you describe white people as visitors in South Africa, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Now, how do you reconcile this constitutional notion that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, and that white people are visitors in South Africa?
You arrived here as settlers in 1652. It's a historical fact. And you were using South Africa as a refreshment station. You were not here to settle. You were passing. Because of our Africanness and the spirit of Ubuntu, we have embraced you and we have shared our land with you. And we have accepted that you have naturalized in this country. But it doesn't change the fact that you came here as a visitor.
So let me ask you that, let's clarify that.
Yes.
Do you accept that there are many people in South Africa, black and white, Indian colored, Chinese, who came to South Africa from another country at some point?
Not blacks. Not blacks. We came from one country called Africa.
Ah.
Huh?
I understand. So in other words, the claim is anyone who is on the continent of Africa belongs in South Africa, is that correct? Or is not a visitor?
No. South Africa is Africa. Mm-hmm. We are one country called Africa. This South Africa you are talking about was imposed on us. So we didn't come from anywhere. Speak for yourself. We didn't come from anywhere. There's no African who came from anywhere. We came from here. I mean, my Lord, I cannot come from the second bedroom in this house, and then I find you in another bedroom in the same house, and then you say I came from somewhere. In the same house. I didn't come from somewhere. I was sleeping on the other side. We're here. So, we are not visitors. We didn't come from anywhere. This is our continent.
All right, so I mean, I appreciate Malema for that. I mean, I don't like that he has to talk to white folk about this. You know, I don't like that he's sitting down getting interviewed by white folk about this. But this is the mentality that we need to propagate. This is the understanding of Africa that we need to propagate. Sure, there were empires, but there was only one Africa. We were just one people. You understand? We had our different empires. We had different kingdoms. You know, you could have been loyal to a different kingdom. But to say that, you know, South Africa, the country, existed at the time, it didn't. You know, it's like when people say, hey, what country did you come from? Like, you don't know what country you came from. There were no countries. You know, you could say, oh, yeah, you were part of one empire or another. You could say you were part of one village or another. But you can't say what country I was a part of. You know, and that's really one of those critical things, too, when we understand, when we talk about Africa. You know? It's not that, like, for instance, when I went to Ghana, I looked like a foreigner. I looked different. But I didn't look like I was a European. I just looked like I was probably from a different tribe. You know, you go down to one, or, you know, ethnic group, if you want to call it that, or village, if you want to say that. You know, if you want to be a little more politically correct. But the point being that you still have the phenotype. They're just like, oh, well, I don't know what village you might have came from. But that's it. You know, villagers or people from villages always met with other people from other villages. African people always look different from one another. But they were still sisters and brothers. Word to your mother. Nah, I'm just you got it, you know. I'm not gonna do another. Nah, I'm playing. All right. So yeah. So we shout out the ally. This is the ally. Represent for Malema. Now that I got you pumped up, hopefully you got pumped up, let's start talking about the freaking enemies. So which one's first? Okay, so first things first, we got cheap ain't cheap. Oh, you freak, yo. See, this is the issue with our people, right? We got a lot of BANs. Cantor told me to limit it down to 8 people. Y'all saw last week, I like, what was it like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 BAN. So he was like, nah, just do 8 total enemies. So we're gonna just do 2 BAN. The second one's a BAN, but you know, this first one's a little BAN too. But I'm gonna give you some context, all right? So here's the quote from Mutabaruka, right? He says, it's almost criminal for somebody to eat 3 times a day and never plant nothing yet. Because you have people out there planting and feeding you, and you not feeding nobody. Most youths now eating, but they're not putting back anything that the next generation can eat. Okay? So, Mutabaruka is pointing out to you that, realistically speaking, one of the most important things of any society, right, is the ability to feed itself. Okay? It's the ability to eat. That is one of the most important things of any society. And Mutabaruka is pointing out that it's almost criminal that most of us do not take a part in this ability to feed ourselves. Right? But at the same time, we're always complaining. And so I want to show you guys something. This is a lot of you are not going to agree with this. A lot of you are not going to see this as BAN for whatever reason. Because, you know, we tend to sympathize with the people, even when they're not really that useful. But here's this guy. Your salary is 800 CD, right? Your salary is 800 CD. They pay you monthly, right? You get paid monthly. I think when he says salary is 800 CD, I think he's talking about, it's possible he means you make that a month. I don't know, right? Maybe he means you make it a year. I don't know. But this is not a lot of money. This is like 100 CD, right? It's like $100, $120, whatever, right? They pay you monthly. Yet your landlord is taking 2 years' rent advance for some small chamber and hall. This whole system is designed to put you in debt even before you start life. So you're like, how much is this rent? Because I have a friend, and like I said, I know somebody in Ghana. They were looking to rent an apartment. They couldn't afford it because they don't make money or whatever, right? But they couldn't afford it because they're asking for 2 years in advance. And you know, honestly, I get it. I get it. Sometimes you just don't get paid, you don't get paid every month like you would expect. So you do ask for 2 years in advance, right? Because otherwise, you know, you're out of luck, right? either way, this is a BAN, right? Because again, you go back to what Mutabaruka was saying about usefulness, utility, right? And you realize how much they're really asking for here, and it's just not a lot of money. It's not. It's like, hey, can I get $100? Is what the landlords are saying. Can I get $100? And they're like, yeah, I can't afford that. And it's like, yeah, okay, you might be like, well, that's on, so on and so forth. But the reason why you can't afford $100 is because you're not really that useful. So, sorry, here's this guy. He says, I think you need information. Single room in Accra is not less than 250 to 350 CD. Landlord expecting 2 years in advance. That's the ish. Don't defend the bad system. Right? This is not 250. Let me see if that was, I can't remember if that was how much it was a month, but even if it is, yeah, I think it's like how much it is a month. It's so cheap. And this is the thing that I want us to understand too, as particularly as if we're Westerners, right? If we're in the West, right? You could afford that. 250, 350, all right, 300 CD, that's like $50 a month. $50 a month, and now it's not the best living. It's you know, like he said, it's like a hall and a toilet. But you're not even going to be indoors when you go to Africa. You're not even gonna, like, you could bring your, you know, like I said, you can bring your computer or your game station, and you know, at night, if you're not going out at night, you can chill in your apartment, and you know, you have a television, and you could, you know, you be comfortable, right? But then in the day, like I said, like everything is so cheap down there. But it really comes back to this reality of we want so much without giving anything. You know? I mean, when I was in Ghana, like I said, you know, you go into the, I think they call it Malcolm, right? The name of the, like, you know, in America, they got Target or something, or CVS or whatever. But like Target is like or Walmart, there you go, right? Telco or Malco, something like that. Malcolm. I remember it being something akin to Malcolm, right? Because I misheard them. But they have this store where everything was imported from another country. Okay? Almost everything was imported from another country. I was in the store. I was like, hey, can I get a drink that was produced in Ghana? A drink produced in Ghana. And besides from maybe water, right, they showed me 2 carbonated drinks. Like 2 like pineapple sodas or something like that. Right? In little bottles. But it's a full, it's like you walked into, not necessarily like a big Walmart or a big Target, but like maybe like half of a small Target, but or just a Target, regular, whatever, or like the size of a CVS, kind of. Actually, no, 3 floors, so it's pretty big, right? Like 3 floors of a standard CVS, right? You walk into that store, everything, with few exceptions, is imported. This means that the people there are not producing anything, but they're still saying, hey, you know what? You're overcharging us. Overcharging you for what? What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't afford $50. And I know some people are like, hey, man, different economies, you know, different blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. But at the same time, you know, this is what they call an opportunity. You know, one of the things that the socialists, right, say about the capitalists, the Western capitalists versus the African capitalists, right? Or the European capitalists versus the African capitalists. They say that the European capitalists, for what it's worth, are actually entrepreneurial. They're actually entrepreneurial. You know, even when you look at garbage bags, for instance. Garbage bags are basic things. Garbage bags in America, they now have handles on them. They have handles on them, make it easier to tie. You know, when I was younger, you had to like grab, like you had to somehow tie a garbage bag without any handles. Later on, you saw little flaps on the top of the garbage can to help you tie it. Now you have rope or whatever, or string, or whatever, plastic string or whatever, that will help you to tie the garbage. Everything is just constantly being improved upon in America. I went to Africa. I'm telling you, this woman was selling me soup, and she handed me a bag, soup in a baggie. It was disrespectful. Nah, I'm joking. It was alright, but like I'm being for real. Like you have all the intellectual capacity, all the intellectual ability to be the top dog in innovation. You know, you as an African have all the intellectual ability to be the top dog, the alpha male, if you will, in innovation. And instead of doing that, you're sitting around saying, "Oh, I gotta pay too much money for a small room." And it's like if I'm in Brooklyn, okay, I'm in Brooklyn. If you told me, "Hey man, you can get $50 for shit," you don't got to say. You don't got to finish what you just said. You said, "Wait, I got a bathroom, I got a toilet, and a chamber for $50, and I'm getting paid this much." Anyway, and I want to actually want to continue on this just a little bit. There was this one white boy. I couldn't include him because he's a white boy, but he's not an enemy within, he's an enemy without. And he was like, "Look, there are a lot of empty houses. And if you were to just give these empty houses to the homeless people, you'd get the problem solved." And the thing I'm realizing is this. If a homeless person cannot afford an apartment, why would you think they can afford a house? Because, like, you know, if y'all understand the difference between renting and owning, it's that when you're renting, you could go paycheck to paycheck, like on the rent. You could be that, and it's not the best thing to be, but you could be that. When you are owning, the pipes go down. You understand? The pipes go down. The water bill goes up. The electric bill goes up. You can't go paycheck to paycheck. And the thing is that if your paycheck to paycheck can't even afford you an apartment, why in the world would you think a paycheck to paycheck could afford you a house? Like, you have to have money saved up. Because things could go wrong. And things, I'm not even going to say. Anyway, let's just finish this thing. I mean, because the next BAN is just a real BAN. This one's not that bad. It's just me kind of making fun of the youth. But you sometimes got to kick the youth in the face sometimes. You know, or wherever you want to kick them. But, I mean, all right, so I think I finished it. But, yeah, you got to see. It's almost criminal for somebody to eat 3 times a day. Just remember that. That's what we're doing. We're eating 3 times a day, and we're not feeding anybody. We're not planting anything. And this is a planet that depends upon the earth to replenish humanity. Like humans need to consume the planet. And either you're planting something or you're hunting something or something, but humans need this planet. So far. And if times are being hard for you, you got to say to yourself, well, how can I contribute to the reproduction of the planet? Because that's always going to be useful as long as we're on this planet. But see, a lot of these people, a lot of these kids, you gotta see what they're doing. What are they doing? A lot of people in Africa are not doing anything. They're very idle. And I mean, I'm not saying that a lot of us in the West aren't doing anything and that we're not idle, right? And in fact, a lot of us are just working for this white boy. But see, when the white boy, because he's not that deep in Africa, even though a lot of us believe he is, because he's not that deep in Africa, a lot of black folk are sitting on their hands doing nothing, waiting for something. And in fact, you might say that's not true. That's not how we are, but that's actually a good segue into the next BAN. But before we go to the next BAN, let me look at the comments because I see a lot of you are coming through. But make sure y'all put up these likes, okay? Make sure y'all put up these likes. And also share it with somebody. Let people know that we talking. All right, but anyway, let's go. Keta says, "Peace, family." So of course I said shout out to Keta. You know it. Keta, I gotta know how to pronounce his name. So Keta, let me know how you pronounce that name, because I know Bit of Medicine Podcast calls you Keter, and you know I don't know which one it is, right? Malema, he shouts out Malema. Malema's good. Learning Curve says, "Yes, I want my planet back, black man." You understand? We gotta do it. She's asked. She said it. You gotta do it. Lero says, Malema was spitting, mad respect. You know it. Keta says, the European preaches unity only when he's outnumbered, but he's a liar. You know? That's what I'm saying. White people, like I said, I was part of this organization, part of the UAM, and I'm going to talk about that later, right? Poly UAM, and this brother was the chairman, Maddox, right? He was like, you. He said I'm pretty bougie. I said I'm pretty bougie. All right, the chairman was like, he knew about the Klan. Like the Klan one time tried to lynch him. Like he was actually hanging from the city hall at one point. You know, doing like one of them voter registration. But luckily, somebody called some black man to come through and cut him down. Okay, chase away the white folk who was standing there and cut him down so that he could survive. But yeah, they hung him. You know, this ain't no game. But he was saying one of the things about the KKK is that they will what would you call it? They understood that if they have to encounter a black person, they have to outnumber them 3-1. You know? And he was like, look, only black folk, so silly, or so honorable, that like, you know, we would show up to do a face-to-face, a one-on-one. Like, we the only ones, you know, it's like, you know, if there's some trouble outside, you know, we're going to go beat somebody up, we say, hey, man, come out your house, one-on-one, you and me. Like, we the only ones. We believe in that chivalry. But white folk understood you don't got to prove nothing. You just got to win. So, of course, they're going to lie when they outnumbered. Of course, they're going to do every sort of act when they outnumbered. Because that's how you suppose. Like, the goal is to win. It's not to be, you know, honorable and have respect. It's to win. And until we get that, like, we not going to get that. We're not going to get that victory. So, all right, Keta, you know, he's laughing about BANs. Yeah, you know it. But this right here, you're going to see the next one. Y'all going to shake y'all head. Okay? Y'all going to shake y'all head. Be like, damn, that's a BAN. Kofi says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to Kofi. Kofi, you got to come through on the Discord and do the verification thing. Come on. EL says, we want everything for nothing. Yeah, we want everything for nothing. Like, you know, I'm telling these people just sitting down on their hands, man. Reselling white folk stuff. You know, this woman was selling me like wafers from like Australia or some shit. You know, I wanted to support her family because she's sitting down in front of her house all day, every day. Or you know, like for instance, for most of the day. She's sitting out in front of her house not even a thoroughfare. Selling me wafers from Australia. Still, I said, all right, let me go get these bland ass wafers. But I had to do it. You know, but like Kenneth says, we only manufacture churches. Shaking my head. Yeah. I'm telling you, everybody was lining up for church. I was tired of that. Leto says, you're pretty bougie, king, bro. But the truth do be harsh. It's not even about bougie. I'm not bougie. That's for sure. I mean, I'm Oni. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bougie. They're bougie people. I'm not bougie. I'm you know, I'm like low consumer. I'm just telling it like an IS is. You know what I mean? I'm telling it like an IS is. Like an IS is. I'm not going to say that I'm bougie because I know bougie people. You know what I'm saying? I know bougie people. I don't do none of that stuff. You know? But I feel you. I know what you're saying. I mean, look, a lot of us are just like, we try not to say the truth. We try not to say the truth because it hurts us. You know? Like I tell you, we used to, well, I'll say this right now. One of the things about the conscious community is that we low-key super ignorant. Super silly. A lot of us. Super silly, super ignorant. Anything could come fly right by us because we not really applying that critical thinking. You know? I tell you, because I remember once upon a time, people used to tell me, I wrote this on Twitter, people used to say, hey, y'all notice that the Chinese people, they would sell us the food that's not good to us, and they wouldn't sell us the things that they eat. If you go to a Chinese food store, they don't eat the stuff that they're selling to us. And it's like, if you look at the Chinese food menu, they list everything. You know what I'm saying? They list all the weird exotic vegetables, all that stuff that they eat. But you say General Tso's, you say fried chicken wings, you say so it's not that they selling you what you gonna buy. Cause you buying it. And if you weren't buying it, they wouldn't sell it to you. But because we so twisted, we like, yo, see how they try to feed us this poison. They wouldn't eat it. You know? I'm just saying this. Anyway, Learning Curve says, there are always at least 3 conversations white people have, and as a black person, you will never know their truth until you read the books they never thought you'd see. Yeah, I mean, white folk talk, like, you gotta pay attention to when white folk talking to themselves. You know, sometimes they write books to talk to themselves. You know, oh yeah, so the reason why we need to get rid of these, like whatever, but we don't read that, and that's the thing. Like I said, look, when we get to the Pan-Africanist situation, I'm gonna tell y'all, like, if y'all don't have my book yet, if y'all still supporting these other black folk, I'm just gonna say it that way. Captain says facts to learning curve, and Lero tries to double down for some reason. She looking for the past me. She said, "How you is, but it's cool, it's authentic." Now I'll tell you, there are people who are bougie. Look, I don't like. I don't really fall too far from the norm or the average, but this ain't about me. She just really want to be right. You know what I'm saying? Pass now, joking. Those are good people. All right, so anyway, we're gonna go to this HNIC. So this is the HBANIC. So the head jazz Negro in charge, right? If y'all know, HNIC means the head Negro in charge. So HBAN. But this is so bad. Now I'm gonna give y'all a quote. This is deep from the Pro Black Companion, page 24. It is. Here. It is the passive resistance from the helm that steers the boat. Okay? It is the passive resistance from the helm that steers the boat. All right? And in fact, I forgot that I have to give you guys some information. So I'm not going to even describe that to you. I'm not even going to describe that to you. Okay? You're just going to have to figure that one out. That took me a while to figure that one out. But before we even go to that, I forgot I have to let y'all know that I'm part of the KWAZ Radio Network.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio. You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio.
Yeah, and don't forget about the learning curve, family. I keep neglecting to re-add it. But don't forget about the learning curve. She's out here. And also, if you guys want to be a part of the KWAZ Radio Network, like Lero did, then just hit us up. Hit us up. But anyway, so we're gonna go into this, and y'all really gonna have to you're gonna have to try to understand that quote. I don't even want to describe it because it's just too good. And when it clicks for you, it's gonna be good. But this right here, this is a BAN. I had to narrow down all the BANs, and I was like, this one right here. Europe should develop Africa to stop migration to its region. Buhari. Usually I try not to talk about African leaders, because I might just go in their country. I might have to sit at the table with them. I might have to sit at the table and be like, hey, you know what? Let's build a factory over here. It's gonna be hard if you said, hey, I think you're HBAN. I think you're the HBANIC, right? But like, what kind of shit is this? What kind of what is this? This is this is exactly see some of y'all like for instance, Lero just called me bougie for pointing out the Ghanaian youth who is saying, hey, 800 CDs is too much for me. I have to pay 2 years in advance to live in a house. How can I do that, right? What do you think that same idiot, that same BAN would do if he was sitting where Buhari was sitting, but say the same thing Buhari's saying? You can't, shout out to Organic African Paradigm, good brother, right? But he was like, look, a lot of times the people on the top just reflect the people on the bottom. If you are not trying to be a productive people, right? Why would your leadership try to be a productive people? Because first off, your leadership knows whether his people are productive or not. So let's see if we could look at this a little bit. Let's see if we, because a lot of times we want to stick to Harsh Reality Podcast said he's retiring. Can't be this segment. Bit of Ed Podcast says, what is this? What is this? What kind of nonsense is this? This dude gonna talk about, hey, President Buhari says Europe will not find sustainable solutions to its problem of migration and crises associated with it, except it creates opportunity to develop Africa. Despite burgeoning possibility, irregular northward migration from my continent drains Africa's talent pool while provoking political crisis in the EU, Mr. Buhari said. Despite its best efforts, Europe will not find a sustainable remedy to this problem by further reinforcing its Fortress Europe approach. Instead, more opportunity must be created for Africans at home, providing alternatives to decisions to take life-threatening boat journey in order to seek themselves out. Like, this is the leader of the largest country in Africa. Okay? He says, look at this right here. Matter of fact, Buhari made his statement. Hold on a second. I mean, I just told y'all, this is the largest country in Africa. The largest country in Africa. The leader who's probably going to win another election after shooting a bunch of his own freaking citizens. This is the lead. Like, oh gosh. Like, I mean, and you might be like, hey, this is the only BAN. Y'all voted this mother. Nah, not even. But no. Like, I'm not ADOS. I'm not ABA. Okay? But like, you can't come in here and talk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all right, never mind. Mr. Buhari made this statement in an article to mark the participation of Nigeria in the ongoing 6th EU-Africa Summit in Brussels, Belgium. He was in Europe telling you guys. All right. He further said, by 2050, Africa's population of 1.3 billion is set to double. Okay? Making up a quarter of the world's total. That's crazy. It's a double. That's crazy. But all right. My country, Nigeria, is set to double its population to 400 million, by then surpassing the United States to become the 3rd largest nation in the world, arguing that the relationship between the EU and Africa must be rebalanced to power job creation. Unfortunately, today's arrangements do just the opposite. And I mean, this is on all of us. I mean, all right, all of us except for me. I'm just messing. But like, for real though, like, this is the. I should have put the commercial right here. Actually, I should have, because I need a moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is. Yeah, guys, I need a moment. Let me read the comments. Kenta says, but I don't know if he says Behari. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but Behari is an idiot, bro. Lero says, you definitely preaching. Leaders reflect the masses. There's plenty. Buhari is just waiting to get in position. Buhari is the king of all assets, though. Yeah, I mean, this is the look. This is not. It's not. See, when I went into the kids earlier, you know, I can't afford anything, right? That was just me going in on kids, right? And it was like, that's not cool. You know, they're kids, right? This guy is the leader of the largest black nation on the planet. Okay? You're not the leader of the largest black nation on the planet. All right? I'm not the leader of the largest black nation on the planet. I can say whatever I want. You can say whatever you want. The kids earlier can say whatever they want. This is the leader of the largest black nation on the planet. And he's like, hey, you know what? Europe, you're not doing your job right. You should be creating jobs for us. All right, you guys get it. So, that's a BAN. That's just head BAN in charge. And like I said, I try not to talk about African leaders because, like, you know, like these people are killers. You know that. You know, I'm not saying that I'm, and we're gonna talk about the Pan-Africanists later, because, you know, I'm not saying I'm afraid of killers. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. But, you know, I just, you know, all right. So this is somebody in Nigeria. She says, every day I go to court, especially in Abuja here. So she's in Nigeria, right? I am reminded of what Nigeria's problems really are. Today in open court, one pot-bellied big man admitted that the federal government paid him 2 billion naira as consultancy fee to construct the Nasarawa Makurdi federal highway. The job was later not done, and the man pocketed the money. If $2 billion was for a consultancy fee, how much was now awarded for the main construction? Another man pocketed 36 billion naira of federal government money. Now he wants to return only 6 billion naira under plea bargaining. Now, I don't remember how much naira is worth, so I'm not going to try to do the math. Plea bargaining. But it's a lot, like, anything in the billions is, you know, a respectable amount of money, you know? Federal government said the 6 billion is okay by them. The federal government said, yeah, okay, you want to keep 6 billion, that's fine, right? That information shouldn't make you sick. I have something else that will. The grammar is stupid, right? Federal government keeps 3 trillion naira every year to import and subsidize fuel. Nigeria has spent $30 billion importing fuel in the last 15 years. $30 billion is 18 trillion naira. Okay, so she did the conversion thing, right? So basically this was like around millions of dollars or close to millions of dollars, but it's a lot of money. Meanwhile, $2 billion can build a refinery from the scratch. But none of our national refineries is producing up to 25% of its production capacity. My friend is in NNPC told me reliably that the bulk of the oil we use in Nigeria is from oil bunkery. Illegal makeshift refineries operated by agents of the richest people in Nigeria. Salaries paid to refinery workers last year was 69 billion naira. Meanwhile, the Kaduna refinery has not produced even 1 barrel of oil since 2017. Nigeria, as a president constituted today, is a crime scene. Okay? So this is the country this guy is leading over, where it's like, oh my gosh. Let me just see what the other source is. You know, like if you hear disappointment in my voice, you know, that because I'm a voice actor. Oh yeah, here it goes. Minimum wage a month, $51 a month for people in Ghana, $73 a month for people in Nigeria. But see, this was actually pretty useful for the other post actually, where since $51 was compared to the rent that they were asking for, which was probably around $100, or like $100 a year or something like that, right? All right, so petrol liter is $1 in Ghana and 40 cents in Nigeria, and the electricity is about the same amount per whatever. So for those who are always asking about minimum wages in relation to energy prices, right? Probably would have been better on the other post, but the thing is this again. Not even trying to be productive. Okay, we go back into the federal government of Nigeria sitting down on serious wealth, right? And I'll admit some of the wealth is from selling, from exporting, of course, right? Exporting raw materials. That's where some of the wealth is. And then what it does with that wealth is it says, okay, let's put it in our pockets. Let's go put it back into Switzerland. Let's go on vacations to Europe. And then ask the European to make us jobs. You know? Ask for lower prices. Ask for better conditions for us. These are both combined. I should have just combined the two and saved ourselves some trouble. But these are both combined. This is the BAN going on in Africa. And it's disgraceful. But we're going to move on to the next section. And it's not going to be manginas. Although we talked about this mangina yesterday on the Oh, shoot. I totally forgot about this one. What is this one? Ah, shoot. Okay. Yeah, I actually have to talk about this one, but I didn't put a summary on it. So, I guess I broke the law. I broke the rule of the 8. I got to talk about that one. All right, well, we'll see. Let me see the comments. Buhari is the king of all assets. Yeah, Ketra says the 3rd largest country in the world and has no world power. Imagine how weak we are, right? Harsh Reality Podcast says he's UK trained, right? That's tracks. Ketra says, like I always say, there is corruption everywhere. The only difference is that in Africa, corruption destroys economic growth and lives. Nigeria has around 4 oil refineries. They import petrol and petroleum products from the Netherlands and Belgium. Shaking my head. Yeah. 4, yeah, it's you know, it's a shame. Yeah, corruption is everywhere. Like, corruption in America is a big thing. You know, they call it pork barrel politics. It's a big thing, but it is what it is. Let me try to go over this one really quickly. This was I was so glad I finally got some pass me's. Besides from, no, I'm joking. All right, I'm just gonna go over this quick. I'll just go over this one quick because I totally neglected it to, you know, even summarize it. Basically, this is some black woman. She's gonna play some video of
not American.
Tipu Tip, right? So Tipu Tip was this like famous, like wealthy slave trader in Africa. The thing is that Tipu Tip, if you look into his backstory, so this is actually pretty important. They're the divestors, right? So basically, the divestors are going about facts about the slave trade that they don't tell you. One of the wealthiest slave traders in Africa to ever exist was a black man named Ptah Htp. He often collaborated with the Europeans and ravaged Central Africa to sell his own people. So then this black woman goes there. White people stop feeling sorry for slaves. When your forefathers learned slavery abuse from black men, hold black men accountable, they are ruining society as we know it. No, it's not about being... Yeah, it's not about being held... it's not about... Hold on a second. Hold black men accountable, they are ruining society as we know it. No, it's not about being a coon or a sellout, but about facts. Sincerely, a happily divested black woman, right? And the thing is that, you know, if you look at her picture, she's good looking, right? Good looking enough, right? Here's the thing I want you guys to understand, though, right? You then look into Ptah Htp, okay? And you look at his family background. I want you to understand this, okay? Now, he does look well melanated. I'll give you that, right? But if you look at his family background, it goes, Ptah Htp's mother was a Muscat Arab of the ruling family, an Arab, right? His father and paternal grandfather were coastal Arabs of the Swahili coast. His paternal great-grandmother, wife of this person, was a member of the Muscat Oman and a Bantu woman from the village of this place, Mbwa Maji. I was trying to look ahead. But here's the thing. Technically, this guy's an octoroon. Okay? Technically, he's an octoroon. All right? And so what happens is this. This original post that this woman was sharing, it's a white guy now.
Facts about Africa that you weren't taught in school. In the late 19th.
And so this white guy is pushing, because like I said, the woman is actually attractive, right? So, and I want people to understand this too about, I want to talk about negging a little bit later on. But here, let me show you this. This is a post that you guys should really familiarize yourself with. In fact, I'm going to put it into the chat so that you guys can check it out later at your own convenience. You know? At your own convenience. But basically, this is a resource that white folk put together about the Arabs. Oh, look, somebody took out this freaking video. All right, but it's about I said save it on your hard drive. You're welcome, right? Well, basically, these are a bunch of quotes that the white folk put together, where they're like, realistically speaking, slavery and Islam go hand in hand. Okay, slavery and the brutalization of African people go hand in hand. To the point where, realistically speaking, if you were to, the claim was once that the European learned about the brutality of slavery from white folk, not just firsthand either, not just secondhand either, but firsthand. Calabar is destroyed, then the inhabitants of Calabar came out running on the road. The prophet had their warriors killed, their offspring and women taken as captive. Prophet Muhammad was heard saying, the smallest reward for the people of paradise is an abode where there are 80,000 servants and 72 wives. And you know, these are white folk just going through scouring. And you know, I had a debate with this Muslim, this black Muslim, and you know, you guys can check out that video too. But yeah, in the debate, you know, he was dismissive of a lot of this stuff. But this is what white people are publishing. So basically, what these divester guys do, these white boys do, is that they just turn it. They just turn it from, oh yeah, you know, it's not the Arabs, it's the African. But this guy. I mean, despite his complexion, he's well melanated, sure, at least from the pictures, right? Or he's you know, because like you're probably gonna get a little darker being in the sun anyway, right? But he's technically an octoroon. If his Bantu is the pure Bantu is his great grandmother, right? Then he's an octoroon. And you wouldn't call him black, you just call him an Arab. But and then here's the thing that got it interesting, because you know you wanted to go through this woman's page because you don't think it's a real person, honestly. You think it's a white person, and like with 50 followers, it's probably just a white person pretending to be a black woman because she's going in on black people too much, right? But I do want to talk about negging a little bit, so just to give y'all that. But let me see if I can find it. So here's what is interesting. Oh no, it's the wrong page. Here. So I went through her page. I was like, okay, let me see what else was being said. Or even like, if this was a real person, right? And she goes this, black people, please understand that these people are not black. Like these are the people that you're looking at. They're biracial. They're not us, and that's okay. Biracial people deserve their own space and can say they aren't black since they don't have a black male and black woman. We don't say gray equals black, so why say biracial equals black? Answer, it's not. And so, these are a couple of famous people. I don't really recognize any of them. I know this woman. I think this is in there. I didn't know anybody thought she was black. But, all right, so I guess I just don't recognize her. I guess I recognize everybody else. But yeah. So, I wanted to put this up. This is a past me, obviously. I don't think this is a real person. But here's the thing I want you to understand, though. Because she's a good-looking woman, right? White people, or even, because we were talking about colorism last week. I want you to understand that. I'm part of me is of the belief that when you are making, when people make fun of people, or people insult people, or make people feel worse, sometimes, in the childish way of, flirting, or childish way of trying to get somebody's attention, get somebody to like you, or just somebody not like themselves. And so the thing inside of the quote unquote pickup community is called negging. Okay? Negging is when you, when a woman's out of your league, right? You don't go to her and tell her that she's out of your league. If you tell a woman that she's out of your league, she will believe you and not get with you. So what you do is you try to convince a woman that you're out of her league. You understand? That she's lucky to be with you. So for instance, if I'm a white boy and I want to get with a fine sister, I would tell her, hey, you know what? Yeah, you're from the ghetto. You're from the hood. You don't understand fine culture like I do. Oh, yeah, and your men are violent and would beat you. Shit, you'd be lucky if a guy like me wouldn't beat you. Right? White men know how to, I don't want to say it because that's going to sound terrible. But, that's how you would do it. It's a psychological thing. And so, I'm not going to say that I believe that's where, a lot of colorism comes from. But I do remember fine-ass sisters. Back in, when I was a kid, so they were kids too, but it was okay because we were kids. But they were, the best-looking women, and I don't know if there was any colorism going against them, but I know, for instance, I could tell you this. A lot of times when I was in, high school, elementary school, junior high school, whatever, the cute dark girls would be, friends with a light-skinned girl, right, who wasn't as good-looking. But the light skinned girl did get more attention, but the darker girl who was better looking would just be her her sidekick or something. I don't know if y'all remember that or if that sounds like that rings a bell to y'all, but it was weird. But at the same time, it's it just makes a lot of sense if the better looking woman, right, was getting negged. You know what I mean? But people don't want to hear that because that's a little bit whatever. But we're gonna go to this one. This one's So I totally forgot about this, so that's actually an extra. But I was trying to cut down, but I had to go over this one because this was a past me, and it was an authentic past me, and all that kind of stuff. But here's the next one I want to do. This is one that's called Abolish Marriage, and it goes: no race can prosper till it learns that there is as much dignity in tilling a field as is in writing a poem. Booker T. Washington. So this kind of comes back to what Ptah Htp was saying, right? Where we are talking about, what are you doing? If all you're doing is writing poems, right, and you're not tilling a field at all, here's the thing: you can write a poem when that's sufficient for your life, for your well-being. But if it's not sufficient for your well-being, if you're not making ends meet with the poetry, then go till a field. Go do something. Don't complain. And so here you have this right here. These are the past me's. I had to put this lady. But I'm going to put a whole list of unfortunately African Americans to show y'all this is part of the reason why a lot of people don't like black Americans. I'll say it like it is. This is just one of the reasons. And I mean, I know, I'm sorry, because I know a lot of people are black Americans, and they're like, hey, man, why you got to talk about us? But look. Y'all should have sat this lady down. Like, what are you doing if you don't sit this woman down? What are you doing? Let's see the comment section. Learning Curve says consciousness matters. Keta says Europeans writing on the slave trade always make it seem like they had no contribution in making it possible. Now this woman, they reduced slavery only to intermediaries. Well, look, I want to say about this that the Europeans on the slave trade, well, at that time, yeah, they were definitely involved. But like the Arabs were involved in the slave trade from like 1,000 years before, and they were trading white people too. You know, that's part of why nobody liked the Moors. That's why that whole Othello book was about, man, fuck you, you stupid Moor. You know? Now you might be like, hey, Moor is a black person, yeah, but it's also like it was connected with the Arab world, where they were like trading these white folk. You know, black people be asking, why do white people not like us? And it's like, well, one, you're weak, and two, a lot of black people participated in trading them too. And they don't like Arabs. And they still fighting the Arabs. They still fighting the Middle East. Like, what are you thinking? Think they're gonna like you? What are they gonna like you for? First off, you're weak. Who needs to like you? But then here, look at this right here. This right here is another reason why nobody gonna like you, because you like what is wrong with you? Here she goes, abolish the institution of marriage. Period. There's no protect women in marriage when that institution is based on women's exploitation. So here's this Captain Sabercracker, you know? Right? You know, here's this woman who's just trying to, like, America exists, okay? America has a bunch of institutions that you might not like, I don't know. But America exists, and it has a right to these sort of institutions, and whatever. I mean, if you say they don't, that's fine. But, like, marriage? Like, marriage? You're against other human beings, like people that you don't even know, saying, hey, let's cohabit. And let's be able to lawfully pass down our thing. Let's get tax benefits. Let's you're telling people, or let's have visitation rights and let's have medical rights. Let's do that. She says abolish that system. This is her opinion. This is one of the most prominent black people on the planet at this point. This is, last year when we were talking about Black Lives Matter, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is one of the women from that. I mean, if it's not, then I made a mistake. I don't really know the women, but I think this might actually. I gotta look it up now, but I should have looked it up before. But I'm pretty sure she is the lady behind the Black Lives Matter movement, right? Hopefully there's nothing absurd is gonna show up. Why did I say open? Why did I say open profile photo? All right. I think this is the lady from Black Lives Matter. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Is this the lady? Y'all, all right, let me see the comments. Y'all let me know, because I thought this was the lady. Leto saying that lady's not even African American though. Really, she's not? Shit. I mean, with that kind of opinion, I don't know what to say. like that makes it even worse, honestly. Like, you in a whole other country talking about abolish an institution. Yeah, I think she's behind the Black Lives Matter movement, isn't she? I can't tell. Is she? Y'all let me know. Is she? Now I'm just wasting time. All right, I can't tell. Maybe it's not her, but I thought it was her. But yeah, what kind of dumb opinion is this, right? And then you think to yourself, okay, all right, well, Lero just said that she's not African American. I don't know. All right, Lero, sounding like some ABA people, but all right, Lero, she's not African American, but I'm gonna go into. The reality is this. These are highly, I believe, if she's the person, then maybe, right? But then you come into this reality that a lot of times when you ask yourself, hey, you know what? I'm sympathetic towards the black cause. What is this? Somebody deleted one of these pages. All right. Oh yeah. So basically, she was like, I'm very intelligent. I'm a super intelligent person. Don't call me dumb. You know. And I should have screenshotted it, I guess, but it was just like so pathetic. She was like, "Don't call me dumb. You know I'm a genius." Like freaking loser. But yeah. I guess she deleted it, but I remember laughing through the trolling. Let's see. Whereas she has a husband. Oh, she has a husband? Okay, that's so stupid. She's just so like pathetic. Lero says she's not AA. I couldn't tell. I honestly, like I said, that's another thing about black folk. It's like you really can't tell. Like you just know they're black. But here's the thing I want to point out too, right? Because I had to combine a lot of these things in order to be a little quicker, right?
Go ahead.
If you were to say, I want to help out the African American cause, right? And if somebody said, okay, you want to do that? They say, yeah, I want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to support an African American leader, right? You're going to be confronted with this lady who allegedly isn't even African American, right? Or you're going to be confronted with this gentleman.
So let's give it a try. Now, what do you want to know? Let's get into it.
Stay focused on reparations, right?
Okay, let's go. Go ahead. What's your question?
I asked you, how much is it for the reparations?
We're probably...
So is it 10 trillion or the 12 trillion? I mean...
We want to start off at $20 trillion.
Okay, cool. So how?
The same way money is distributed to some of the red native tribes, the same way money was distributed to the Japanese people who suffered in internment camps, the same way, that way.
Yeah, and they went to Congress, talked to them, and they had that stuff laid out, right?
There were different ways it was done, and there's different ways we can get it done, sir. So what's your point?
So how do you do that?
We're going to make it happen, and we're figuring that out on our own.
Is there a time frame?
But one thing we're not going to do, we're not going to flee like you did and come over and act like we're part of a culture that you're not a part of. We're not going to do that. That's how.
Where did I flee from?
You fled from Africa somewhere, sir.
And you can prove that how?
By your accent.
So where is my accent from? Because you said Africa. So what part of Africa, apparently? So what country?
Somewhere. Who cares? The fact is you ain't FBA. That's the point.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
You can't prove that.
Yes, I can. You're not FBA.
You can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, sir. And the fact
how?
that because you're acting like a woman, and most FBA men don't act like you.
How am I acting like a woman? Because I asked you a question that you can't answer?
You're whining to a man. Foundational Black American. Yes, you are. You're whining to me. You're very emotional. You're laying on your stomach right now, emotional, laying on your bed, talking to a man like you're a woman.
So you're telling me that you're staring at me.
You're very submissive right now, and you're whining, and you're asking bad faith questions. You called up emotional. You did. You called up like a woman whose man is cheating on her. Where you been? Where the money at? Talk to me. I haven't heard from you.
No one even asked.
Yeah, all right. So, I mean, all right. So, hey, let me look at the comments because Lero, she the same lady that said AAs are going to come colonize Africa. Oh, is she the one? Oh, I didn't know that. Kobe says, I don't know her. Kenneth says, no, she's African, not BLM. I thought she was the same. What's the name of the lady who started BLM? Because I thought that was the same name. I thought they both had that name. But all right. Yeah, she's not BLM. Kenneth says, lives in Maine, a very white state, preaching feminism to African women. Now, Leto says, bro tried to slick come for us. Now, I'm coming for you guys. Look, this you know, I'm coming for the AA. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to. Because I realized, look, real talk. I want to say this, real talk. I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I want to say this, real talk. Y'all remember when them boys was out there talking about black men are the white men of I don't know. I remember the whole quote, but like real talk. If you look at this diaspora wars thing, it's almost like it's between African Americans and Nigerians. You know, It's not just them, obviously, but I do like sometimes you think to yourself like Nigerians are like well known for just being arrogant, you know, and you know basically like just being Americans, but in Africa, and then African Americans are kind of like just being Africans, but in America. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like they like. I'm telling you, it's just weird. I mean, obviously, I'm just whatever, you know. But anyway, I'm just playing. I just want to come after y'all. Kenta says, "I defend y'all. I'll defended you." Why Kenta doing all these misspellings today? That's my question. All right, Leto goes, you hear me, bro? Crazy. Kenta says, Haji says, not Bussy, man. But, like, you know, I want y'all to realize, though, like, imagine if you really, really, really were invested in helping out African Americans and you came to them with questions for their leader, and their leader was like, you sound like a woman laying on your stomach talking to a man. And you, like, seriously, like, was about to open up your checkbook. You know, I mean, but here's the thing, though. It's like, even after that, you still have some people who will open up their checkbook for what just happened. You know? Kenta says, what the alpha male is coming out, right? Better Medicine says, that was stupid. Harshali says, clown show. I have zero respect for anyone that accepts this dude as a leader. But that's what I'm saying. Like, what we have to realize is that this is, like, the reality. I mean, you might say you have zero respect for them, but it's like, this is where it comes to where we are so misorganized, right? We are so disorganized that this dude is actually a leader of a more significant amount of people than I would say all of us put together. You know, unless you listening in the cut and you happen to be, you know, somebody like you happen to be Buhari, right? I don't know why. You know, somebody probably sent you the video and said, "Yo, this guy just called you a BNA, you know." But you know, I'll double down. He was a BAN. Anyway, but unless you somebody, you know, this is more influence. And this is how he talked to another grown man. And the good thing is that the guy didn't even have an accent. Like, this dude sounds like a typical African American, probably in I would say the Georgia area, you know, like just sounds like a typical African American. I'm not even. Let me see if I can see the. I think I do remember commenting on this where he says, well, let me see what he says. After 2 to 3 minutes of his usual. So this is the brother who said it. Reality bar.
Go ahead, sir. Let's give it a try.
What the? Oh shit! I was like, what the fuck? This motherfucker is on my live. All right. After 2 to 3 minutes of his usual immigrant troll act, if you have the chance to ask any questions, he'll give these pimp pastor responses and go right back to trolling. Crystal clear what he's about: pimping people for museum money, movies, and entertainment. Not serious at all. Now you might be like, okay. So I decided to combine a few of these things just to double down on this. I thought that lady was the Black Lives Matter lady, honestly. Madam Bookman is now. So you might be like, okay, well, I still want to help out the African American cause, right? So instead, I want to go to another African American leader, and here you have this Yvette Carnell. She goes, Haiti's liberation actually inadvertently led to the expansion of slavery in America. She says Haiti's liberation led to the expansion of slavery in America. Your people certainly should have sent the French running, but let's also at least be honest. The Haitian uprising sent hope. This is true, but it also had very real consequences. You're playing semantics here. The point is, there would have been no massive expansion of slavery had Napoleon not been defeated by Haiti. Can you imagine this? This is a real Black American leader, even if the other lady happens to be something else, right? Don't drag about the Haitian Revolution as if we benefited in any tangible way when you know the opposite was true. Okay? So here comes Madam Bookman. She goes, pathetic, divisive, and intellectually dishonest. Slavery survived only 60 years after the Haitian Revolution. The revolution sparked an abolitionist chain reaction in America and the rest of the Western Hemisphere. The real consequence is the colonizers' eternal hatred for Haiti. The point is this, that imagine, just this honestly, we have to be honest with ourselves. Imagine you are saying, I want to go out and help Black people, right? Now, if the first lady is not African American, I'll give you that. But then you got Tariq Nasheed. You're like, hey, okay, go listen to Tariq Nasheed. And then that happens. Now, you might be like, okay, well, no. And so let's see if there's another example. And we're going to try to go through. Oh, yeah, so God King Justice. This dude, he's pretty funny. But he goes, can you make a Maroon documentary, then say we not from Africa? And why are established scholars sitting around helping charlatans complete projects, but then get mad or confused when we not progressing? So I'm like, who's he talking about? Because I didn't know who he was talking about, right? And he goes, Tariq Nasheed, and there's this lady right here, Oya Adwa Ma'at, right? This lady, and then it says Professor, y'all see the people. Anthony Browder is an excellent Pan-Africanist, along with Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Naeem Akbar, Francis Cress-Welsing, so on and so forth. So Tariq Nasheed is, he has a whole recording. And look at this, 3,000 views on, 3,000 tuned in to his AMA or whatever. This right here is 7,000 views with Tariq Nasheed chopping it up with Ajo. And this is not even the actual page, I don't think. It's D Tubman, just a regular 23,000 subscribers. I still don't even have 1,000. FYI. Y'all get my subscriptions up. So I go, I didn't know Tariq did a Maroon documentary. Grifters will grift. I can't say the situation looks promising. And it's like, it's in the making now. That's the crazy part. Of course, I did my Florence, you know. I had to do the Florence. But it's like, the dude right now is making a documentary. And then people like this lady. Now, I'm going to admit to y'all, I don't really know much about this lady. I one time said to myself, I wanted to do a debate program for this podcast. You know, Sunday African Worship, the pro-black perspective. I wanted to do a debate program. Somebody said, you know, Sarnetta has a debate program. So I said, oh, okay, let me look into it. So now I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, a sister's debating somebody about whether slavery is still in effect or something. And she's arguing that slavery is still going on. And then the dude was a Christian guy. I thought, you know, you could have stomped him otherwise. He's like, no, we don't have passes. We don't, you know, we could cross the street without a pass. We can, you know, do all sorts of stuff. And so, you know, you begin to realize, you know, she's one of them conscious folk who just says shit. And then if you come to them with, like, information, they're like, yeah, well, no. And so, I mean, I can't really say. But she's probably, it's, the implication, I'm guessing, is that she's going to be working with Tariq Nasheed. So again, you know, you're saying to yourself, hey, I want to help out the black cause. I want to help out black people. Who do I go to? And all fingers are pointing to this guy. Or Yvette. You know? So it ain't about me trying to go after, you know, black folk. It's about, yeah, well, we gotta keep it real. Right, and so this is the last one on this section where it goes, yeah. So there was another secret recording, I guess, you know. And again, you know, this is the thing about these people is that usually you would never listen to these people. But, you know, I guess, you know, I need content. So I was like, let me look for some of this shit. AKA Secure the Crack Pipe Tribe. You lot are done out here, starting to eat yourselves up from within. So this is Yashika. I don't know who this is. But she's calling Tariq Nasheed an agent. But also, I want you to pay attention to this. She's going to point out that there were African kings in attendance listening to this guy, Tariq Nasheed, digging on African people. So, like, if you were and now, I don't know if they were really African kings, but, you know, she just said it. But the point is that if people of significance are really trying to open up their bank book, are really trying to make a difference for the people across the Atlantic Ocean. You know, people in England say people across the pond. Well, I know I have a relative in England who said that. And I was like, what? What pond? Right? but like, if there are really people who are trying to help out the black cause, or if there are people, you know, quote unquote immigrants in America who are like, hey, let's help out black folk. And they're like, who can we look to for leadership of whatever it is we're trying to accomplish?
All of them is in there. Just now, Tariq just held a room together, and all of them is in there. Just now, Tariq just held a room, and all he was calling up on the stage was Africans.
He's a fucking agent. He's a fucking agent.
He's a fucking agent.
He's an agent, okay? Because Mel, at the end of the day, them people, they just got caught holding the bag over there on Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
They went viral, and they didn't even know what to do with it. These idiots wouldn't even put the right people in place. You got politicians in the room. You had freaking African kings and, you know, the whoever was royalty, the shit had 30,000 people in it. You had an opportunity to really get this information out, and you want to hold your nuts. You telling Africans to hold their nuts. Fucking idiots. Fucking FBA is Hebrew Israelites meets Asian.
That's all that shit is. This nigga was in there speaking African. So whatever the fuck, whatever their greeting or salutation is, that nigga's a Pan-Africanist. And just like I told, the only reason why he was in a fight with Umar is because he fucked with Umar. So the nigga is a Pan-Africanist. Y'all can hang that shit up. And the little movie he got coming, all this shit, I'm telling you, this nigga's the new COINTELPRO.
Oh, he is. Let me tell you. Oh, well, actually, I'll let Lila, say what happened yesterday when you was in Tariq Nasheed After Dark.
Oh, yeah, for anybody that was there last night, yeah, he was taking questions after dark as he does, and the last caller was a brother named Kofi. So if anybody knows, Tariq is really only interested in speaking to African immigrants. So he brought a brother up named Kofi Newt. Kofi is actually claiming to be Seminole, foundational Black American, and his parents were Pan-Africanists. So he started sharing information about his experience because he and his father have moved to Ghana in the past year and a half during the pandemic, and they're talking about how they're, they have to pay 3 times the amount for land. They also discussed just a lot of the racism that they see from the white Americans, white supremacists that go over to Ghana, and how.
Oh, is that it? Yeah. I mean, you know, like Tariq just grifting every side, obviously. But you know, and they were like, yeah, he's a Pan-Africanist. Apparently, there's like a 5-hour replay. Like I said, if you guys want to check it out,
and all of them is in.
But I actually like sucking the teeth now. You know that I like that. Somebody told it out that was it was actually an African thing. You know what's weird is that apparently I thought it was I thought African Americans did it too, but apparently it's like almost every group does it. But I really think African Americans do it. But I thought it was a woman thing, you know. But you know, like somebody pointed out that it's just like something that like I thought it was like black women did it. You know, because I heard black women doing it, but I mean, I guess you know guys do it too. I don't know, but it's pretty interesting. Just another tidbit. Although I really think that African American people do it too. Y'all let me know. I think they do it, but somebody was saying that it was really like you heard it more in the Caribbean. Anyway, let me see this. Let me see the comments. We hear the mic shuffling, bro. I don't know what he's talking about, but I just did it. Harsh Reality Podcast says online, yes, majority of African Americans who actually go outside don't know who Tariq is. Yeah, I mean, look, you know, that's the thing though. It's like I think you were saying it yesterday. Yeah. You were saying yesterday that one of the things is that if you're looking for stuff, you're gonna go online. A lot of times, if something's not around you, you're gonna go online. So like yesterday in the Bit of Medicine podcast, you know, make sure you guys check it out. The Shoot the Breeze, Harsh Reality Podcast. You know, D Web was saying that there was somebody who was like not. Like they were like I think in an adoptive family or something like that. They were in a situation where they had to research their blackness, and they went online to do that. You know, so it's like a lot of people, like internet is going like if you were serious about helping out black folk, right? It's you would probably do some internet research. You know, I don't know if it would lead you to Tariq Nasheed. But it like the fact that there's a possibility or like a significant possibility is something that, you know, like we have to also take into account. You know, that if you really wanted to help folk out, you know, because here's the thing, the reality is this, that another way that you could help black folk out if you were to research it would be, you know, obviously like, for instance, you would go to those event websites, find out what kind of political events are in your community. You go to libraries. You might even like, you know, you might find yourself like investing in the police or something, you know, like unfortunately, because we're not really active in the community like that to a large degree. And then like a lot of people who are active in the community, like their online presence is minimal, you know? So like, for instance, I could tell y'all that when I was organizing, I didn't have an online presence. And people would tell me to go on the internet. And I was like, nah, that's stupid. Nobody's on the internet, right? But I mean, I'll admit I was probably a little more popular when I wasn't online. But none of y'all knew me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like I said, this website that I just showed y'all, like this article that I showed y'all that y'all be like, what? That's a good resource. Let me show you. Right here. This article was written in 2012. You know what I'm saying? It's an old ass article. But like nobody would know that, you know? So 2012 is 10 years ago. That's a long time ago, right? I don't know if y'all saw it on the top, but it's a long ass time ago. All right. What was I saying? So yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's like, when you were working locally, a lot of people are not going to know you unless they're local, But then if you're looking for like national, international situations or solutions, chances are it's going to lead you to the national, international personalities, And so like all of us right here, for instance, we all were looking for something, national, internationally. And that's why, I mean, not too many people are here, obviously, although I appreciate it. But like at the same time, it's like part of the reason why a lot of people are here is because they're on the bigger profiles. You know what I'm saying? But let's go going. Lero says, we like to be entertained. Tariq provides that for his followers. A lot of us don't pay attention to more serious folk. No shade, but why don't you have more of a following, right? And you just said it, so I don't know where the shade's at. Right? No, I'm joking. But I mean, like, but like Tariq Nasheed, like the insulting the guy for being a woman, it's kind of like low-key sexist. But I could see telling somebody laying on their stomach, talking to you, probably making some black person somewhere, crack up. Like maybe some of us might have chuckled or say, I guess I get the comical, the comedy there. But some people are just, like, some people were just losing their shit. They're like, oh, man, like, he's there on his stomach. So, and like, if you give somebody that feeling, they're going to listen to you. You know what I mean? Like, if you're that silly to not understand the larger implication at play, you're going to be obsessed with this guy. Bitmessage says, Yvette is really that dumb, huh? I'm gonna go in on Yvette a little later. She's not like I'm gonna use Learning Curve's quote, which is broken clock. She's gonna do some broken clock stuff, right? Leto says, isn't Yvette a lesbian that is looking to be naturalized by white America's pending reparation? Yeah, of course she is. Right. Leto says, them ADOS folk identify with the institution of slavery. It's in the name, and their politics match that. They just trying to get in the big house. Yep. Harsh Reality Podcast says both movements basically consist of wanting to be slightly higher on the totem pole than immigrants, which is xenophobia, right? I want to say this though. Here's the thing that's really interesting. If y'all remember, like 3-4 years ago, on social media, before this stuff came out, right? A lot of the talk among the, I'll say Pan-Africanists, but a lot of the Pan-Africanists, Black nationalists, all that kind of stuff, we were talking about separating between the integrationists and the separatists. Okay? They were like, hey, something wrong with the integrationists, so on and so forth. And the thing is this, that, we always knew the integrationists were like the bigger ideology. ADOS, FBA, are just integrationists too. It's just the same damn fight. But now this group, it's like, it's almost dignified to be an integrationist. Because, see, what you're going to realize is that a lot of these people that were in the movement right now were quote-unquote anti-integrationists. And all Yvette did was just make it so that integrationism looked like radicalism. You understand? It's weird. It's complicated, but it's weird. It's interesting. Katie Red on 7 says, Dr. My aunt is an electrical engineer PhD who teaches at Morgan State University, and she's appeared in Hidden Colors, right? So that's a pretty good PhD. Teaching at Morgan State, that's pretty cool. Like I said, I listened to her debate. I thought it was kind of silly, but yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. It's a good fact. Lero says it was African kings in the room. Yeah, I mean, look, the reality is this: it could have been. Like I remember one time, the first time I was trying to go to Africa, somebody was like, hey, I'll introduce you to some African princes, which is a thing, you could, these are people who are princes of different villages or kingdoms, I guess, this is a thing. if they were online and they were like, hey, what's all the hubbub? What's all the attention? You know, I'll click on and listen. You know, this is what they'll hear. Because like I said, I had this friend. Like I said, I went to Africa. I went to Ghana, and then this sister was like, she don't know nothing about the ABA, FBA. A lot of people in real life do not know anything about these people. They didn't know anything about them for the last 3 years. But then when that room hit, a lot of black folk were retweeting and arguing and debating with it and debating about it and discussing it to the point where even the black folk who are isolated all the way in Africa heard, yeah, something like black Americans don't like us. You know? And it's just a reality. So like even like if something like that gets big, it's like BLM. We all knew about BLM for a long time. A lot of people around the world did not know about it. You know? We know about ABA for a long time. A lot of people around the world don't know about it. But what happens is that if a movement keeps growing and growing and growing, and then if you understand the nature of the internet, and of course you understand the nature of the powers that be, right? That thing can go viral one day. Harsh Reality says, facts, those was college kids that stumbled on a viral moment. That's it. It's a viral moment. Mr. Untouchable says, misinformation. That tweet dude is a joker, man. So shout out to Mr. Untouchable. He's on the Shoot the Breeze as well. He's a good brother. And so is KD7. KD7, he's in the comments mostly, though. He says, according to Yvette Carnell, the Haitians should not have revolted and just waited for the French to have an epiphany and end slavery on their terms. FOH. Yeah, she's a mess. Harsh Reality Podcast. Well, still, again, her whole gimmick is to... her whole gimmick... See, again, remember, when people are paying you, right, you have to say what they want you to say. What they want to hear. You know, it's like if you're an entertainer, it's like I don't know if y'all saw that skit, Wanda Sykes. It wasn't that funny, but Wanda Sykes is talking to this artist, Sade. I actually don't know who Sade is because she's a mulatto. 1, 2, I'm not that old. And 3, you know, she's a mulatto, right? No, I'm joking. But but yeah, so Sade, and then she says, Wanda Sykes asked Sade, could you sing a song? I think from your latest album, she might have said. But she said, can you sing a song? And then as Sade was saying her song titles, Wanda Sykes was like, no, not that one, not that one, no, not that one, not that one, right? Like just to be funny, I guess. But either way, the point being that, you know, like you got to know your audience. It's not about being right. It's about sharing the message that people are paying you to share. You know, like when it comes to like when it came to Trump, when it came to that Candace Owens, when it comes to freaking Rachel Maddow, you know, anybody who's being paid by somebody to pass a message has to pass that message. And the thing that you're supposed to do is that when you're clever, right, you navigate to pass that same message in that cleverness. You won't get caught. You know, so we saw that for our side, for instance, with Malema. When the white boy was trying to catch him, and he was like, no. We are all African. All of us. You know? People try to catch you. So basically somebody, the context for that quote, was for that conversation with homegirl was with Yvette was something along the lines of, hey, you know, Haiti, you owe Haiti. And it's like, no, you're not supposed to get caught. You're supposed to stick to your guns. I mean, Harsh Reality Podcast sometimes complains about this. He says, you know, sometimes Republicans are just talking Republicanism. And sometimes the Democrats are just talking Democrats. They don't really try to do the common sense. Yeah, they're not. They're not, because if they do, they're losing sponsors. They're losing money. They're losing elections. And they're already losing elections, but they understand that a part of it, I forgot what I think politicians, there's a way for politicians they do it, but part of it is just like just I don't know what they call it. It's some word, but it's like feeding the crowd, basically, right? You just have to please the crowd. That's all it is. But anyway, we're gonna go to the next one because we actually spent quite a bit of time on that one. Yeah, so this is some freaking. Finally got an alphabet squad. I actually had 2, but I had to cut it down because, you know, Keta was like, don't do so many, right? All right. So this one says, we got a first quote, page 26, John Henry Clark. He says, education has but one honorable purpose, one alone. Everything else is a waste of time. That is to train the student to be a proper handler of power. And so the quote here is just, why don't you have kids? Right? And you can tell this is an LGBT person because this is the Alphabet Squad because the name is Gay Black Vet. So finally got me a freaking Alphabet Squad. I knew they were one of the enemies within. Look at this fool. Now we're not even gonna look at this video because it's just a bunch of crackers. This is basically a white kid, 5 years old. He goes to some other white kid's house and says, "Hey, I want to give this little girl flowers for my Valentine's." So this black man comes through, or black boy or whatever, comes through and says, kids are never too young to learn about sexuality when it's heterosexuality. Right? So we go back to the John Henry Clark quote. Education, I mean, like, again, people are not going, like, nobody's going to like you as a, like, if I were white, I would not like you if you were complaining about my white community that had nothing to do with you. Like, I understand you complaining about things that have to do with you. I understand if you saying, hey, why are you kicking me on the streets or whatever, right? I get that. But if I'm white and you complaining about my white boy going to go date another white girl, something's wrong with you. Or if you telling me that you want to show my kid, I'm a white man. And this is not, white people are the ones pushing the LGBT agenda. Big time. It's not really black folk, but there are a lot of black fools like this one. Either way, if you want to tell me what to do with my kid, right now I got a problem with you. Look at this fool. Look at this stupid ass profile. Y'all see this? Overeater, underachiever, gay veteran, queer, building queer spaces. Check out our app. Nah. What? Nah. All right. Anyway, but I want to say this is this is one of the enemies thing because it's like, just have your own damn kids and do whatever you like. Unfortunately, I don't really care, but just do whatever you want with your kids. But leave my kids alone. Is all I'm going to say. The idea, the thought that you want to, like, you don't even have any your own kids. It's that simple. Like, why don't you have your own kids? If you want to influence children, just have your own kids. It's like with me. I wanted to, like, when I was younger, I wanted to have more kids, honestly. And I was like, when you have kids, one of the things about kids is that you can multiply yourself. If you apply your parenting particularly, if you say, hey, you know what? Like, particularly when I was like in my 20s, like when I was writing this blog, I was like, if I have 4 kids, let's say, right? Then that's going to be 4, that's going to be Oni times 4. If you think Oni's good, you're going to have 5 of them now while I'm living. Walking around. And they're all going to be better than I was when I was 20. And I was pretty damn good. Right? They're all going to be better than me so I can multiply myself. But here you have this dude who's like, no. It's not about multiplying myself through me. It's about multiplying myself through you. I'm telling you, man, this is one of those Alphabet Squad. They underrepresented in this because I barely ever see them. But this is one of the examples. And again, like I said, white folk get this. We need to get this too. To train the popular handlers of power. One of the abilities that we have is to procreate, to recreate ourselves. Like I said, to multiply ourselves. Tupac says, no matter how they try, N-words never die. We just retaliate with hate, then we multiply. That's what it's about multiplication. But we're going to just stick on that a little, shortly. What the fuck? Oh, I forgot to put a description over here. But I think it's still going to be good. Let me see the comments. Harsh Reality says, on some of these people love that low vibrational nonsense. Went into Tariq's space one day and a mammy was cracking up at the clown joking about flies on the eyes of Africans. So embarrassing. Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. Kofi says it is don't know how they do it. Jeremy Burt says no kids. Yeah, no kids. Arthur Zor, he's here. He says she's an African feminist, but I think he's probably like an hour behind. I don't know. I feel like that was a long time ago. Lero says, why don't LGBT have their own kids? Exactly. Just have your own fucking kids. Jeremy Burt says, because the reason why I say that. Now, obviously, I don't want them influencing kids. But the reason why I said just have your own kids is because they can't. You know what I'm saying? So like, just shut the fuck up. Like, you know, like nobody cares. Don't go to my kid. You know, I went through all the work. I'm feeding this kid. I'm you know, schooling this kid. I'm doing all that stuff, and then come to my kid and be like, hey, you want to see some gay porn? No. Like I like shit. And I mean, like, yeah, if I want my son to be looking at black women like, yo, this sister fine, ain't she? That's what I want him to do. You know? That's what I want him to do. And he's mine. Period. I'm feeding him. You know, I didn't give birth to him per se, but I contributed to half of that shit. Oh, half to that. I didn't say shit. Y'all gonna quote me to my son. You know, your father called you shit, you know. Some people do that, you know. Jeremy Bird says, AKA, you shouldn't contaminate the gene pool. Yeah. Lero says, science. Laugh my ass off. It's just science. It's basic science. Just have your own damn kids. Shut the fuck up. Do whatever you want with your own children. You know? Oh, you can't? All right. Then shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. Oh yeah, this is just freaking. So I shouldn't have had these people, but I hate these academics. See, this is the thing. Lero gonna say I'm bougie. Some people say, you know, I'm kind of a nerd. Some people say I'm an academic. You know, I'm on the fence of these things, but I'm not in any of these groups as deeply as these other people. Like when you compare like a nerd to me, you're gonna be like, okay, maybe he only likes video games, you know. But you know, he tries to program. He's a programmer, you know. Or you might be like, hey, maybe only is bougie, but nah, really, he kind of cheap. I mean, I saw him eat like, you know, some you know, I saw him eat like, you know, home cooked meals. You know, like he's not really right. This right here, you might be like, oh, he's an academic, but you know, real talk, he not you know, a professor at any sort of school or nothing. You know, look at this right here. So, the quote is going to be page 30. Don't tear down a fence until you know why it was put up. And I want you to understand this. It says African proverb. This is going to be something that white people tell each other all the time. This is something that Europeans tell each other all the time. Okay? And here's the thing that you're not paying attention to is that they're saying this while you watching. This is an academic. He says, many social scientists have effectively made racial inequality the minority problem. Theories, example, social capital, and programs, for example, DEI, I don't know what that is, right, are framed in ways to help the minorities while ignoring structural racism that makes the inequality possible, right? And it's like, this is assistant professor of sociology. Then there's going to be a lot of these motherfucking nevolutionaries. This is the nevolutionary section, by the way. A lot of these nevolutionaries are going to be in the subjects. You know, the burden of doing this work is always on POC too. White people say it's impossible to do them, but then they whine when they see how hard the work is. If they actually believe that, they would put higher status and reward on it. They would reward you for taking off the fence that their ancestors put up. Anyway, instead it's low reward, and people who do the work are marginalized as woke. And I think one of these people is white. I can't tell. Maybe both of them are white. Honestly, that's true. No rewards. I hear that. Right. So I want you to understand. Go back to what I just told y'all. White people tell you, do not tear down a fence until you know why it was put up. And then these black folk are going to tell you why it was put up. Because inequality would not be possible unless you had these freaking fences up. Unless you had structural racism. And I'm not defending structural racism. I'm just telling you that white people, like, you have to understand that you're not playing, like I said, you talk about video games. You're not playing against the computer. You're playing PvP. You're playing against another human being. You're in competition with other human beings, and you're telling them, hey, you know what? You wouldn't be winning except for that the game was set up by you. So now what I want you to do is agree to take down the game so that you could no longer be winning. You know, you just go you go close to the microphone and be like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. like that. But others, they're going to just debate you for a million years about, oh, well, you know, this is what we need to do is we need to get white people to understand that if that they need to get rid of the system so that we can compete and take their resources. Fucking idiot. Look, social scientists exist to distract revolutionary praxis. Now, this might sound like an academic, but, you know, you're talking to academics. You got to, you know, it's kind of like I said, you got to talk the language of the people, right? No system could last over 200 centuries without secular dogma to paralyze its most assaulted victims. Basically, what I'm saying is that this idiot is a part of the system in getting you to be paralyzed from what you need to do. Because see, this idiot's here to distract you from really doing what you need to do. Now, either you need to, like, if you want to overturn shit, then go overturn shit. Or if you want to leave, then leave. But you are being distracted if your people, your best and brightest, if you will, are going to school. All right, I'll say this. Ultimately, I to say that when he was going to become a lawyer or whatever, his mother told him before he went out, he's in the South. That's a good African American. Good African American family, in fact. Right? He's in the South. And he said, his mother told him, don't go and become an educated fool. Do not go and become an educated fool. And he took that personally. You know what I'm saying? Took that personally. You know? People they go to school and become educated fools. You know, I know some of y'all think that I said public fool system. I think I probably got it from Maddox, honestly. Right? But yeah. I mean, I don't remember. Maybe I did it. I can't remember. But you know, like I said, this was like 10 years ago. You know, like nobody remembers that stuff. But that's what it like. These are the people. They're distracting you with this, because like you see this, like when he does this, and then some white person is like, "Yeah, that's very true. We don't reward you guys enough for trying to destroy us." We don't reward you for trying to destroy our way of living. Yeah, we got to reward you guys some more. And he's feeling good. He's like, oh, this white person agreed with me. Yeah, I'm pretty brilliant, aren't I? Anyway, let me see what this other one is. Just quickly. Oh, somebody else quoted it. Says, I tell you, like this is, y'all like, y'all, I'm not distracted. You just getting distracted, Oni. It ain't really distracting us. Look at this. Another black person. Therapist, owner of some sort of community, whatever, LLC, right? Building an anti-racist society shouldn't be about benevolence for black people. White people building an anti-racist society should be about healing your white generational trauma and reclaiming your own humanity. What the fuck are you talking about? Like you get so lost in these fucking books that not only are you saying that white people lost their humanity and are traumatized by all the wealth they're getting, but you actually think... Let me go to the comments. I'm sorry, guys. I just wanted to show y'all all the facts, but... Whew! All right. Why don't they have any kids? All right, so... Leto says, he is bougie, y'all. Don't let him Look, I know bougie. I'm not bougie. People will tell you I'm not bougie. Why she keep saying that? She's not even spelling it right. Bougie is spelled... No, I'm joking. That sounds kind of bougie, right? All right. Unless she means bourgeoisie. I mean, yeah, am I a factory owner? Sure. No, I'm joking. All right, Leto. The structural racism is the nation. Everybody know I'm not bougie. What are you talking about, though? Come on, I wish. Shit, the bougie system's fine. You know what I'm saying? All right, Larry, the structural racism is the nation. It's something that they even somewhat cater to. It's something that they even somewhat cater to minorities. Structural racism is the nation. Yeah, it's something that exactly. It's somewhat catered to you. Woke integrationists and reformists. I mean, telling you, man, these are the people who are like they're nevolutionaries. They're never going to contribute because they believe this is the revolution to them. This is the revolution to them. Having white people admit to generational trauma and reclaiming their humanity. That's the revolution. And white people, there are going to be some white people who are like, hey, please help me understand my humanity better. There was this white boy, I didn't show you guys this video, but there's this white boy who says he spends $2,000 a month on bottled water. Okay? Bottled water, it's called Vaas, I think it's the brand. It's from the Netherlands. Apparently, it's the tap water from the Netherlands. Now, there was somebody in, I think it's Norway maybe, I don't know, or Netherlands or whatever, but there was somebody in the Netherlands who said, yeah, the water does taste different from the American water, you know? But it's still their tap water, obviously, right? And he gets them in glass and all that kind of stuff. He spends $2,000 a month. And then he's one of those guys you'd be like, hey, you want to reclaim your humanity? He's like, yes. Like, he was even saying he got him in glass because it reduces carbon footprint, you know? But, like, he has this, like, all right. I mean, I don't want to tell y'all what a revolution is, but this ain't it, okay? Like that white boy, like going to that white boy and telling him, you know, hey, I'm a human too, or you're a human being and you gotta reduce your carbon footprint. Like that's not revolution. That's just stupid. But anyway, this is me. I use some of these African American quote. You know how we joke. I'm gonna say we, right? Anyway, tether shit. You know what I'm saying? But he says not selling out our lions, right? All right. So look, this is something this is actually important for your life. This is an important quote just for your life in general. That a fish and a bird may fall in love, but the two cannot build a home together. You know, and this is like you gotta understand the limitations of what you want as a good house and what somebody else wants as a good house. This is something just personal advice for you, right? But it's also not selling out the lions. This is kind of like a bunch of evolutionaries again. I would put this in the BAN, but like I said, I was trying to limit the amount of BANs just to whatever. Some people in Tanzania siding with a UAE firm to evict the Maasai from ancestral lands, right? Why? So you got 70,000 people who are going to be facing eviction, right? Going to lose their homes because the government is like, you know what? These Arabs want to shoot these animals that you live next to, so just leave, let them do it. You know? Selling out lions. Now, here's the thing I want y'all to understand that, realistically speaking, human governments are not for the protection of animals, per se. Right? They're not. But, you know, this government is like, hey, we need the money. We need the money. They're going to pay us some money. And you know, your way of life, which is, while beautiful, by the way, if you realize ma'ah in the word, right? And all that kind of stuff. A lot of their symbolism, like these quilted cloth that you see, you actually could see similar things in Kemet kind of thing, right? What you're going, like, you know, ancient Africa, all that kind of stuff. What you're going to see is that, realistically speaking, economic systems go against other economic systems. Agriculturalists are going to want to use your land regardless. The trouble here is that you're selling it out to trophy hunting and tourism, elite tourism. And you're like, our people just somehow cannot put together how to freaking just make our own economy function. And the thing is this, like I said, I was reading The Wealth of Nations. Like the dude's, like the guy, Al Smith, he kind of just puts it out really quickly. It's like, look, just at minimum, produce your own, like be self-sufficient in food. Or no, sorry, be not just self-sufficient, sorry. Be an exporter of food at minimum. Have an abundance of food at minimum. If you understand, just listen to what I just said. When you go back and read African history, see, here's the thing is this, that when you guys, here's what I want to tell you. Literacy or reading is very influenced by ideology. Okay? A lot of you might not know this, but you're listening to a different ideology than the one you grew up with, to a large degree. Well, like, I'm not necessarily what you might have heard as you were growing up, wherever you were growing up. Okay, a lot of us kind of, you know, follow different paths. This is a little bit different. I want you to go back and read some history books after listening to what I just said about food. Because see, when you understand what I just said about food needing to be abundant for you to be wealthy, then you're gonna understand the Yoruba. You're gonna understand African history better. But I say the Yoruba in particular because I guess I'm not gonna pull up the images, but you know, the Yoruba have this art, and one of the things you peep about this art, or just agriculturalists in general, agriculturalists in the human history, in African history, have this abundant wealth, and the reason why African people were happy and had this abundance and all this wealth is because they were agriculturalists, and agriculturalists produce food surpluses, and when you have food surplus, then you have an excess population that can focus on other things, right? As long as you do not have a food surplus, you don't get it. You don't have it. And even this guy, Adam Smith, is like, hey, you know, one thing about all these European colonists, right? The reason why you could send out people to be colonists to begin with, but one thing about all these colonists, right, or, you know, get the miners and all that kind of stuff, is that they had a food surplus. They had a food surplus. You know, and here's the thing, is that realistically speaking, you know, the Maasai might not participate in the food production because I think they might be a nomadic people. You know, their cows and all that kind of stuff, whatever, right? So honestly, you know, there's going to be a conflict regardless. But here's the issue: if you're going to have the conflict, make it be toward a food surplus. But yeah, go back. You know, like I said, you hearing this, you heard this word: food surplus, food surplus, food surplus, food abundance, food abundance. Go back and read your African history now. You know, a lot of you already read African history. You enjoyed it. You got a whole bunch from it. But now get it from the perspective of looking at the different economies and the different ways for our people to get food and how that transformed our societies. And then you're going to see, oh, yes, when we're nation building, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. And, you know, I told you, you know, Booker T. Washington was saying, you know, Muta Baruka was saying, you know, but like really, I want y'all to go back and do that. This next one, by the way, so we're finally up to the fan Africanist. Yo, this one is gonna get y'all. This one's gonna get y'all. Ancestral, you gotta listen live, bro. Wait, hold on a second. I should write it to him, right? All right. All right, so Lero goes, welcome to nationalism and so on forth. Red Black Gentleman, peace fam, says the Green movement is anti-black as... Yeah. I mean, everything. You know what I'm saying? Author says, Tariq Nasheed after dark, LOL. This is pure comedy. Some gossiping ass bullshit, LOL. Listen, yes, I just told him listen live, bro. We gotta let people know that when you click the link, you know, just go live and rewind later. You know what I mean? Just write down when you said hi. And then come through. But this is the fan Africanist. I'm gonna write down that too. This is yeah. So we going to the fan Africanist. This one's gonna piss y'all off, but this one pissed me off the most. This one, like Lero asked me, why are you not popular? Now after you see this, y'all have a responsibility to make me popular. Oh, this is the last one too. Oh no. See, I combined this with a bunch of other ones because, you know. Anyway, look. Yes, sir. I didn't bring nothing. I want you to understand this right here. This one right here is very important. This one right here. Boasting at home is not valor. Parade is not battle. When war comes, the brave will be known. And so I'm going to just say this because I want to say this. I said I'm going to remember to say this. Well, if you're going to be violent, I'll be silent. That's nah. See, I'm acting. I'm acting. I want to show y'all this, and then y'all gonna understand that I'm not acting. Look at this shit. So Shaka Rai, shout out to Shaka Rai. He's a good brother. But look at this shit right here. A conference of African-centered scholars planned in Kemet has been canceled due to backlash from Arabs who suddenly claim the history and Kufar culture of Kemet as theirs. The link below and the attached comment sheds more light. Now, I didn't look at the attached comment because I'm not clicking no Facebook link. Look at this shit. I would cancel every motherfucker here. No, sorry, I shouldn't say motherfucker. I like these people. I'm low-key, I didn't really care for the Happy film. I bought it. I didn't really care for it. I like these people. Okay? Dr. Jeffrey's great brother. Banna Bello. Great sister. Like, these are some good-ass people, I would think. Right? This is Wade Nobles. I heard about him a lot. Asar Motep. Good brother. Dr. Theophilo Benga. I'll tell y'all the truth. When I was youngin', like I said, like 10 years ago, I wrote this guy. I was like, hey, how can I volunteer for you? You know? Like, I wanted to be like, you know, because he was this was Job's protege. This was Job's second hand. Okay? And from Dishi, martial artist here in New York, matter of fact. Right? Good brother. Like, these are some good people. I don't really care for Jay Small, obviously, but these are good people, right? For the most part. These Arabs told them, shut the fuck up. And they said, yes, sir. This is like the most, like, this is the trouble. I want y'all to explain, because some of y'all be like, nah, only ain't you pussy too? No, I'll tell y'all this. I'll tell y'all a true story. True story. Okay? Look, I'm Oni, right? I'm a smart guy. I have belief in myself. I believe that I'm capable of accomplishing great things. Okay? One day I was coming from the UAM, right? UAM's in Brooklyn. I left, the meeting was over. Okay? I'm walking down the street, but I passed by somebody with a like a sash around his his body, right? A sash, and it looks like cause I barely paid attention. I'm just walking out of the meeting, and I just catch a glimpse of somebody, but it looks like they're wearing, y'all know Rambo, where you got the bullets across from your body, right? So in my mind, the brief, you just look at somebody just briefly. You're thinking to yourself, this dude just walked into the meeting I just left with a machine gun or something. Okay? Now, a lot of people are like, okay, the dude just walked into the meeting with a machine gun, but I got out. Right? So I'm just keep walking. Mind my fucking business. But I said to myself, look, I'm a young man. A lot of capability, a lot of potential. Right? I said to myself, no, I'm going to turn around and go, maybe possibly fight. Throw my life. Put my life on the line for this chairman. Don't even know my name. Don't give me no official position. Not an officer. I'm not security. I'm just a regular schmegular member. I said I'm going to turn around and go help out in this situation. Because when you're in an organization, see, I was in an organization mindset. And I'm still in an organization mindset. But I'm telling y'all what an organization mindset is. When you're in an organization, you say, look, I'm going to put the organization first. It would have been 10 years ago, I would have just died, would have been whatever, died, and y'all just read about it. Probably not even read about it. Black organization, somebody goes in to kill a black organization and shoots a couple of people. I'd have been one of them young boys that y'all, somebody would have just heard about. Somebody would have said, oh yeah, well, somebody was killed. Nothing to it. But I said, yeah, I'm going to do that. Put my life online. Right? Why? Because you can't be a pussy. I'll be honest. I don't want to disrespect any of these people here. But, you have to, if you're representing something, that's when, like I said, the African proverb goes, war and parade. Two different things. Somebody tell me, you can't go to Africa. I say, watch me. I live by, I'll be honest with you, I live by how Tupac said it. I was actually pissed the first time he said it. But Tupac said, look, anybody from New York want to bring it, bring it. That's it. That's how you're supposed to, I tell you, Maddox was the same. Like I said, that's why one of the things, I'm grateful I was able to get into UAM. I'll tell y'all the story that he tells us. He's a lawyer. Okay? Some white boy, another lawyer, told him in the courthouse, I'll beat your ass if he wasn't, in the courthouse. And so you might as well tell him, hey, look, let's go outside then. And then they both would go outside and fight it out. And might as well beat his ass in the courthouse. I got the privilege of sitting down watching a black man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Larry was saying, I'll go out to African American. I don't go out to African American because, I know some good black men. This shit right here, you gonna cancel your talk because some Arabs told you, oh, well, nah, we claiming Kemet. Fuck out of here. You ain't coming here. Nah. That's already, nah. I'm sorry. That's some Pan-Africanism right there. That's some Pan-African. I mean, like I said, these are some good people right here. Lennon Jeffries, he drove me in his car. So I'm gonna give a lot of these people these passes. I'm gonna just say maybe it's James Smalls behind this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna try to save face and be like, maybe it was just James Smalls behind this shit. Just saying, you know what? I'm not risking my life for this cause. That's stupid. I got too much money to steal. I'm gonna just leave it at that. These people talking about One Africa, returning to the Source Conference, Aswan, Egypt, live stream from Egypt. Then the cracker said, nah, you ain't showing up. And they said, oh yeah, you right. Nah, it couldn't be me. I'll tell y'all, one time I had this DM. I was talking about the Songhai Empire because there was this one historian who was like, a lot of black folk come from the Songhai Empire, and they were told not to, like they were like one of the problems that was happening in America, like they took some Caribbean Europeans, and they were asking them some Caribbean Europeans were asked by some American Europeans how come like the African Americans were so rowdy, whereas the Caribbeans were so controlled, and then there's I don't know if it's a real story, by the way, but the guy was told like the Caribbean European was like, the problem is that you keep allowing these black folk to tell each other, like to have families, you know, and so what happens is that the mother is going to tell her son, oh, you're from the Songhai Empire, and because you're from the Songhai Empire, you know, you're above this slavery stuff, and so then allegedly this story became like the policy where they would separate the family so that black folk no longer knew they had a great history, and when they no longer knew they had a great history, they could be more docile and more controlled, right? Now I don't know how true the story is because of they said that Blumenbach was one of the people. Blumenbach is a German, right? I don't know if Blumenbach was counseling American enslavers on how to do slavery. That doesn't really make much sense, but it's a story. It's a YouTube video. It's pretty interesting. Either way, I said all this, and then somebody came in my DMs like, you dirty dog. You're not Songhai. Songhai is so pure and strong, and if you ever say you're Songhai, I'll whip you if we're in Africa. And I said, look, give me the flight. You know what I'm saying? I put that shit up on. I was like, yo, this motherfucker put this DM in my fucking thing, and then he blocked me after that. But I was like, yeah, send me the flight. If you want it, we got it. This shit right here, like you come through live from Egypt, live, so forth, and then they say, no, you ain't got, and it's like, nah, we canceling. That's some old folk. Like that's some fuck shit. No disrespect. And like I said, these are some strong people. Asari Matep, great brother, still around. Theophile Bang, I'm pretty sure still around too. He's a great brother. Leonard Jeffries, great. This is his wife, so she's great. You know, this is Ptah Htp's wife, so that's great too. Diana Bello, like this is a legend right here. You know, looks like this is Wayne Nobles and Vera Noble, so that's cool too. And I mean, I don't really know these other people, but I think I saw this brother a couple of times. You know, he's a cool martial artist. I know him. Anthony Browder, I've heard from him. So it's not to say that it's not a respectable group, but it's like at some point you have to, like, this is the stuff that we can't do. We can't have this sort of cowardice, and it's because this cowardice is something that's so manifest among our people that you do end up with this sort of cowardice ideology becoming popular. And we're gonna go in on Yvette a little bit. So I was gonna add Yvette, and I kind of agree with her on this thing, but hold on a second. Let's see if we could because that was gonna get me in trouble because I just named a bunch of names. I know that. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe. And I mean, I understand if you don't share, right? All right, Real Black Gentleman says, what? How they gonna cancel that? Islamication at work? Yeah. Buddha Medicine says they down with Tariq, so I push them to the side now. Yeah, them folks, exactly, like it's the easy way. It's like that's embarrassing. Honestly, that's embarrassing. I'm surprised Partiality ain't chipping and say that's embarrassing, you know? But anyway, Jeremy Burt says, media see Africa is mud and straw, help feeding them, etc. Yeah, media sees Africa as mud and straw. And the thing is, it's like, if you all that big, just go down. Learning Curve says, we must stop submitting to and accepting other people's terms. Learning Curve says, this is sickening. Why do we accept other people's terms? Real Black Gentleman says, this is some pretentious BS they're going to use as a pretext to basically kick out all Africa on historical expeditions. Yeah. I don't know. Bit of Medicine thinks that Jeremy might be trolling, but Jeremy says, Teehee, bone and nose too. It says he's trolling. I don't know. I'm really confused, but y'all make a judgment. I don't know. Bit of Medicine says Jeremy will get blocked if he is trolling. Yeah, so Jeremy, I don't know what the story is right here, but I actually don't know. So I'm gonna just go on that. But let me just go back to the to the resources. So yeah, that was one of them. Let's see what this is right here. So I tried to shorten everything so that I could not go through too many subjects. Let's see this. He says, oh yeah. So this was gonna be my other one, but I decided to add it with this one. So look at this right here. So I want y'all to understand. So here's this black person. He says, look, I would never proudly call myself an American descendant of slavery. It sounds so degrading. No one who truly knows the depths of our history would ever stoop themselves down to the level to call themselves, I guess, slaves. And so then Yvette Carnell, like I'm gonna say she's like broken clock. I was gonna say this is a broken clock. Y'all stay dodging real life. Institutional slavery has more impact on your life, even today, than the continent y'all foolishly represent. But go on, be kings and queens. If it satisfies your delusions, nobody cares. Of course, Shaka Rao says, look, the attempt here is to restrict African exclusively to the continent. So when taken from Africa, our ancestors become empty vessels, void of ID, and ready to be filled by their version of whiteness, presumed and self-master. Question, at which point did this happen? Right? And I mean, that's a nice intellectual question, I guess. But here's the thing I want to point out, though. You can't act like slaves. And then, when people call you slaves, you say, oh, that's not me. You can't say, hey, you know what? We are the ancient African warriors, the ancient African Kemet. Like I said, one of the brothers was teaching martial arts on the ancient Africans. You can't say, hey, look, I'm the ancient African Kemet. And then, when these white people tell you, hey, man, no, you're not. Then you say, oh, yeah, you're right. And then, when somebody says, and then when the white boy says, hey, you're a slave, you can't be like, no, I'm not a slave. All of them. And here's the thing, too. It's like, if you are an American citizen on that, you had a pass. You could have probably used that in some capacity. But instead of doing that, like I said, you line up for they tell you no. They tell you no. And you go along like that's some old bullshit. I'm sorry. So I say yes, I wanted to talk about this Yvette Carnell thing. Like again, I tried to cut it down because it was like going to 9 or whatever. And actually before that I wanted to put up this Keter quote. So Keter was talking about somebody else was saying something like that. They were like it's about past, present, and future. So the reason why I put up I said that broken clock is right twice a day. Like learning curve will tell us, is that you gotta ask yourself what really is impacting you at this moment. So she says. So this lady says, why are black people so attached to the slave identity? Every people on the planet has dealt with that, yet only this group wants to identify with it extensively, but no one else on the planet does. Right, and that's another factoid too. Like the British were in fact enslaved by the Romans and the freaking Moors, right? But they don't go around saying that they're descendants of Moorish slavery or descendants of Roman slavery. They recognize that Roman slavery happened, but they realize they're the descendants of the British Empire, right? But Keter points out, he says, look, every other people have nations of their own. Black people are still fighting colonialism, neocolonialism, and its friends. Most black people today still live on white plantations. Call them countries, territories, communities, or villages, but our affairs aren't run solely by us, for us. So you go back to what Yvette Carnell was saying, and it really touches on to this reality of what the Pan-Africanists are doing, in that we are ignoring the present, the past, the present, and the prison. If you're in a prison and you're talking about, oh, well, that we used to be the prison guards, or we used to have prisons of our own back in Africa 50 years ago, or 300 years ago, right? Who cares? If you're best and brightest, like each of these people, if you want to go by book sales, each of these people outsell me 10-1. In fact, Anthony Browder is one of the best sellers already. These are excellent. Like this guy, Anthony Browder, matter of fact, I think he might be like one of the first African Americans, possibly, to have their own, to be like the first person to like research a particular site. Like a particular burial site in Egypt. Like he leads a team investigating one of these, ancient burial places. Like he's up there. Brian Abello is like the premier Haitian revolutionary historian. Okay? Like I said, Leonard Jeffries, y'all hear me saying politics, economics, and culture. If y'all will look at the Pro Black Compendium, you'll see that I outlined the three, like in the three subjects. This is where I got it from. Him. Okay? Theophilo Benga, like I said, second to Chtahntha Diop. And then you have this intellectual weight. In fact, I will say this. Theophilo Benga was there with Diop in the UNESCO debate on the identity of the African people. Or the identity of the Egyptians. So there's this thing, like when I was younger, I went to this book club, not the book club, this bookstore, and the guy told me I gotta read, like I gotta contact Theophilo Benga. I gotta read Chtahntha Diop. He says it was 2 black intellectuals against 14 black intellectuals at the UNESCO a meeting for people of African descent, and he said it was 2 against 14. It was intellectuals, right? 2 African intellectuals versus 14 European intellectuals, and he said that's a fair fight. And the 2 African people, Theophilo Benga being one of them, won the debate officially. UNESCO came out and said yes, the ancient Egyptians are an African people. This is not my opinion. This is, I'll show you guys. UNESCO Peopling of Egypt, I think it's called. I used to, see the people. Y'all see it? People of Egypt. This is it. I'm not making this up. This is a real occurrence. And Theophilo Benga was there. Look. 1978. Meroitic. So on and so forth. You scroll through. Hold on a second. It might actually show the names. I'm not 100%. Because like I said, I didn't really I ain't looking to this in this is like 10 years ago. Oh, right here. Look at it. Page 65. Theophilo Benga. Symposium on the Peopling of Ancient Egypt. And then later on, oh wait, I guess they just show his name. I don't know. But maybe this one's Chtahntha Diop then. But yeah. What's this? This is it. He's there in UNESCO having the public debate, winning 2 against 14. And then now, what was this, 50 years later? Or 45 years later, who knows? Whatever. They tell him, nah, fuck out of here. I'm sorry, guys. And then so then when Yvette Carnell says this shit right here, she's like, hey, the institution of slavery has more impact on your life than the continent y'all foolishly represent, right? Than the continent. She's not like necessarily I mean, look, it's not that, like, I don't really think that slavery has that much of a impact on your life right now per se. I understand if that's her shtick, right? But I want you to understand that the prison has more impact. It's like if you were not in, like for instance, I know people in prison, right? I can't tell them, hey, remember that time you tripped on ice? How they're not worried about that right now. They're worried about the prison around them. And this is kind of what Yvette is saying now. You have to understand that what we as African people have to do is we have to establish a future for ourselves. And if the best and brightest of us are only content about talking about some ancient civilization, which is a good thing, but then even when bravery is asked of them, when they're told, hey, look, you reserved your tickets, we're now going to go through to wherever, and they say, whoa, we don't want to upset these Arabs. Yeah, nobody. No. This is why I'm telling y'all, get my book out there. Get my book. If you don't have my book already, get my book out there. And then we could, because we don't need this at this moment. We don't need this at this moment. So I missed out what Jeremy might have said, but I guess he said something that was bad. Let's go. What it said. Real Black Gentleman says the gap between African Americans and Black Africans I might consider to be analogous to the gap between modern Ghana and ancient Ghana. A difference in time and space and culture, but not too much. Yeah, I mean, African Americans have went through the American experience, and Ghana went through the colonization experience. I like they both went through a different sort of colonial experience.
Okay, they might have come from the same source for the most part, but you go through a different socialization process, and that's going to impact you, right? The thing is, right now, is that you need black people who, like I said, you see black folk you need men. You need bravery. You need people who are really trying to make a difference. You need people who are willing to die for what they believe in. Who are willing to kill for what they believe in. If I told y'all, hey, look, I'm going to Africa, and it's somebody from Africa, or even some white folk in Africa, anybody, in fact, tell me, no, you ain't coming through here. Right? I mean, the only people that could stop me would be the people who signed the passport. Because then I just can't go on the plane. But ain't nobody I'm not going to touch down. People going to tell me, oh, no. The fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like I say, look, if they told me, you can't go to Egypt, what I would tell them is this. I just tell the airport people, make me just cancel a return trip. Save me money on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just cancel the return trip. Because I'm going there. And that's, like, I'm going to put this on that one guy, James Small. I mean, maybe it could be somebody else. I don't know who, though. But I'm going to say this is an illustrious group. This is a very respectable group. I'm not going to put it on all of them. But who would cancel? Because the Arabs told them nah. You know? And see, we sitting back complain like, nah, bruh. Some damn shame. But anyway, that's Enemies Within. And y'all know it's James Smalls back in there. And of course, these people gonna all sit up with, well, not all of them. I don't want to say all of them, but a lot of them gonna sit up with. Well, first off, they shouldn't be sitting up with James Smalls, period. But James Smalls is gonna be sitting up with Tariq Nasheed. So it is what it is. If black folk cannot get any sort of bravery among them, I can't remember who said it. It's either Henry Highland Garnett or it was Marcus Garvey, but I think it was both of them who said, "Look, if you like he said something along the lines of like you might as well like if you can't be brave, then just die. Just die." Let me see. It might be Henry Highland Garnett too. I think both of them said it though. Yeah. So all right, Henry Highland. Yeah. So both of them said it, but Henry Highland Garnett said, "You'd better all die immediately." Then live lives that entail your wretchedness upon your posterity. So I think Marcus Garvey said it differently though, where he was like, if you can't do what other men have done, if you can't do what other men want to do or whatever, then just die. If you can't assert yourself, like if you're gonna just assert yourself on the internet, then you can't assert yourself in Egypt. And you telling us all this, like, first off, what are you wasting my time for? What are you wasting my time for? Why does it matter if you can't actually go down there? Why are you telling me about all this greatness if you can't actually live it? That's what I want to know. And that's the truth. If you can't live this greatness, why the fuck are you telling me about it? You don't really let these Arabs, the Arabs are my enemy. These Arabs are my enemy. Then it's like the Arabs tell you, look, man, don't come next to my country anymore. You guys keep saying shit. You're sticking up my country. You say, okay, yes, sir. I'll be silent if you are violent. Fuck out of here, man. It's pathetic. So I'm telling y'all, Lero asked it earlier. She said, why am I not more popular? I don't know. I do not know. But I want y'all to remember, go get the books. Go get the books. Get the t-shirts. Don't forget about the t-shirts. I think the quote's in the description. Get the t-shirts. Subscribe to the channel. Follow everybody. And all that kind of stuff. I'm going to tell y'all everybody, shout out. I don't know if Jeremy Burt was a troll, but I'm going to thank everybody anyway. So, Real Black Gentleman, thanks for coming through. Jeremy Burt, thanks. Just try not to troll. Don't be a troll, I guess. Bit of Medicine Podcast. Shout out to you, of course, always. Learning Curve was here. Shout out to his sister. Pro Black Perspective, that was me. I was here. Arthur Joy's just catching up. Arthur Joy, peace. Thanks for coming through. Lero's here. Lero, I don't know why she kept calling me bougie, but thanks, sis, for coming through. Kofi was here. I'm pretty sure they were talking about Kofi in the other channel. I mean, you know, when they were like, yeah, and then she put up Kofi, and I was like, what, Kofi? I was messing. Kid Don Seven's here. Appreciate Kid Don Seven. Mr. Untouchable was here. Can't touch that, brother. Let's see. Keep going. Oh, Kata was here, of course. Kata told me to limit to 8 people. I think I might have done 9 by mistake, but I just couldn't leave out that. I wanted to point out the Octoroon part of that story. And I think that might be all. Oh, EL was here. So EL, shout out to EL, came through. But yeah, that's it. So thanks everybody for listening. It looks like I had at most 12 concurrent viewers. That's a lot. So appreciate everybody for putting their time together for me. I got 10 likes, which is a respectable number. I mean, obviously everybody else pulling up 40 likes for this kind of stuff, but it is what it is. I mean, look, here's the thing I'll tell you the truth of. I think when I was in the Maddox's organization, probably, or it might have been another sister in the organization who told me, hey, look, you gotta appreciate everything you get. And you gotta treat whatever you get as if the same way you treat if you got a lot more. So I appreciate you all deeply. Thanks for kicking it with me, listening with me. Hopefully I can hear from you guys next week. Like I said, if you don't know about the Book of Power, make sure you guys check it out. It's on Amazon. But until next week or next time, peace. Oh, Shemi Amotep, Uncle Jah Sanab Neb, Amen, Ma'at, Dua Netcher.